Hey y'all, welcome to Black is She podcast, The Conversation. Thank y'all so much for tuning in with your girl Jasmine Ivory. Y'all know how we do. As always, we're just gonna hop right into the topic, y'all. I hope everyone's day has been well, marvelous, fantastic. If not, then I hope it gets better for you, y'all. But yes, we're just gonna jump right on into the topic, which is gonna be about mourning, grief, trauma that stems from grief, kind of. Um, so yeah, and I'm gonna try not to get emotional because I'm gonna be vulnerable as I always am. But this is just a very sensitive topic for me in particular, just because I've been dealing with, I feel like, a lot of it from since 2013. So yeah, that's what we're gonna talk about, and yeah, let's hop into it. Um, So y'all bear with me, okay? um, but like I was saying, I'm just gonna throw it out there, like trauma I've been dealing with. A very close friend of mine um, that decided she wanted to dart her behind up out of here and leave your girl on earth by herself, right? And I know we probably always feel like it's so many of us that's dealing with that, that's dealing with loss, unexpected loss. Like it's just unbelievable, the unbelievable, like the wow, I would have never fathomed kind of loss. And most people think that you're just supposed to bounce back from that immediately. And and it makes it seem like some people have bounced back from the same dealing with the same thing from the same passing of that person. But everyone deals with grief and trauma differently, and just because they've chosen to continuously move on with life and carry on day by day doesn't mean like they're not dealing with it in their own way. So that's something that I'm learning as well, because I used to feel like, oh my gosh, everybody's back out having fun and hanging with their other group of homegirls, as if they didn't lose this particular person. But I know everybody grieves differently. Just because it's not shown on social media or it's not broadcasted or plastered everywhere doesn't mean that people are not still dealing with it. I'm dealing with it, and I only knew her for 4 years, my really, really close friend. And I call her, it's this thing in the air, like, oh, she's my best friend, she's my best friend. But in all honesty, I will actually say that she was my best friend. Like, she's everyone's best friend. Seriously, she was just that type of girl. She had that type of aura and personality and kindred spirit that you just wanted to be around her, and anyone who was around her and in her presence was automatically or instantaneously uplifted. And she brought out the best in everyone. Like, I would honestly say this is the girl, and her name is Hope Turner. Well, was her name, but well, it's her name because she lives on forever, and everyone who she's impacted and everyone who she's touched. But she got to experience it all. She knew the full me, 100% in and out. And I don't open up to many people because life itself just teaches you to not open up to so many people. Everyone is truly not deserving of the full you. Like, and then I used to feel guilty about that, because I'm like, why am I not being myself around these people? But God didn't put it on my spirit and put it in me to reveal my full self to those people. And that's okay. Everybody does not deserve all of you. And some people will try to make you feel guilty for that, like, oh, that's stupid, why would you not be yourself? It's okay to be yourself, 100%, but you have to know and understand the importance of who you're allowing to get your energy, who you're giving your energy to, who you're giving your all to. Who are you being yourself fully, completely, uncensored around? Right? So and that was her. So she and it was so crazy, you guys, because we went to Jamaica for her 30th birthday party, me and the other group of girls. It was like, I think it was what, eight of us, or nine, eight or nine total, I believe. And so yeah, we went to Jamaica for her 30th birthday, and literally like a week and a half, I don't even want to say a week, because when we came back, me, her, and another guy we used to work with in the hotel industry, that's where we all met or whatever. And we went out to eat because she was getting ready to have oral surgery. And she was like, oh, it's gonna be the last time I get to eat my steak, so I'm trying to get everything before I have to, you know, heal, because her healing process, I think the type of surgery that she was getting done, I think I recall her saying like it was gonna be a 6 to 8 week like healing process, because they had to, I mean, they were going to be picking in your mouth, so you know that's a sensitive area, a sensitive area on the body anyways. So that was going to be her healing period. So we out there eating steak, blah blah blah. And then like it was the same day surgery and the same day like outpatient. It was supposed to be same day in, same day out, or whatever. But when she woke up or whatever, she did text us all. She was like, well, she texted the group, I believe, and then she texted me. I had a separate message because I texted her. I was like, hey boo, are you okay? I'm just checking in on you, trying to see how you're doing, yada yada yada. And so she was like, I'm okay, not really feeling that well. The surgery took a lot out of me. She said the surgery took the breath out of me. So I'm just gonna be by myself for a while, for some time. But I knew she was okay, because even though she said she was gonna be by herself, she's like this organized person, right? So she had already had her aunt who was like a caregiver, and she knew was gonna take care of her 1,000% to the T, like to assist her with her healing, right? So she had already coordinated her aunt to be in the room with her during the time of the surgery. And so I knew when she said she was alone, she wasn't really alone. And then she had told us, well, she had told me, I think the day before she went in for her surgery, that, oh yeah, my brother's coming down here. He's flying down. He's going to see me and all kinds. So she literally had like everything planned to the T, like who was going to come visit her before she had this surgery, who was going to take care of her after the surgery while she's healing and at home, and can't really just do a lot for herself as far as like, I guess whatever regimen they were going to put her on when it came to like eating or whatever and stuff like that. So she had it mapped out. And then, you know, you go in for the surgery, she texts and tells you, oh, it kind of took the wind out of me, but so I'll just so I'm probably not going to see y'all for a while. I'm just going to take this time for myself to just heal, because she didn't want anyone to see her like that. And then literally the next day after I got that text, we got another text in the group message, because we still had our group chat from when we went to Jamaica, right? So we get the group chat. We're thinking it's her texting from her phone, and it's her cousin saying, sorry to inform you guys, but Hope has gained her angel wings. She's no longer with us. She passed. And I'm like, what? And you know, they didn't even send the message until way late, you know, because at this point her dad flew in, her stepmom flew in, everybody ended up flying in who were not already here to see, you know, basically, is this true? Like, is she gone? Off based on, you know, having oral surgery. And so it was just like I said, to go from Jamaica to a week later you pass while having complications. It seems like she was having complications with her breathing, is what we were all informed, which is what led ultimately to her passing. So just the timeline of it all is just something that I've really struggled with. And because like I said, I'm closed off to everybody, and unless you make me feel safe, unless God is putting it in my spirit that you're a safe space, that you're someone who truly and genuinely cares and have good intentions, there's no jealousy, there's no malice, there's no ill will in your heart, you will not get the full me. And I had to learn, like I said before, that is okay. So it's been like her and the guy who we worked with in the hotel industry. Anyone who I worked with in the hotel industry, I'll just put that out there. They are the ones who truly know me. It's been people who I've known since like middle school or elementary who don't really know the full. I mean, they know me to an extent, like, yeah, they know the jazz that's going to snap or the jazz that'll fight or blah, blah, blah. That's true. But they don't know like, just like my fears, what I truly want to do, as far as like career-wise, what I'm trying to accomplish, my plans, my this or that. They're not the type of people that give like who has ever given me like words of encouragement. Not because, and it's not trying to say it in a way to where it's being like negative towards them, because it's nothing like that. I mean, we were young when they knew me, like I said, from middle school, elementary school, things like that. But as an adult, you know, going through high school and college. Well, I went to boarding school, so everyone who I knew, you know, in middle school and elementary school or whatever, we all kind of, some of them stayed together. They all went to the same high school, but I went to boarding school. So, and it's not stereotypical how everybody thinks when they say, oh, you was bad girl, your parents shipped you off. No, somebody brought the idea up to my dad, and because they sent their son off. It was an older Caucasian guy. He was like, oh yeah, I sent my son off. You should try it. You should let them experience it. It teaches them independence. It teaches them money handling skills, because you had to learn how to save with what you were given. We had an allowance every Wednesday. You had to learn how to save if you want to go off the mountain to get like McDonald's or the Piggly Wiggly, because that's the kind of stores they had in that area that we were going to school at. You had to save your money because you have to buy it on your own. So it taught you how to, you better know how to wash, you better know how to maintain your hair, your hygiene, because you are doing that on your own. So that's ultimately what boarding school is for. Now, don't get me wrong, kind of going off subject here, but we're gonna get back on the topic. Now, I feel like boarding school is where like rich people send their children when it's time for them to start traveling and experiencing life with their husband and wife. That's what I feel, but I may be wrong. And like, because for me, I was on a scholarship, a track scholarship. It's just like college, to be honest. Like, you either gonna go there on the full ride, or your parents gonna have to pay out of pocket. And that's why I say I feel like it's for majority of privileged white folks, because that's ultimately that was the case. So but yeah, so I got to experience so much, and at first I was angry and I cried and I kicked my feet, and I wanted to come back to go to public school with everybody else who I knew from middle school, who I saw them in their little groups and their cliques, you know, hanging out. I'm like, oh, these are my people, they all still together and friends, and I'm the only one that's like far away, because I went to boarding school in Tennessee, and I'm from Texas. So you just imagine that distance from Texas all the way in Tennessee. You're losing connection with everyone. So that's what I mean when I say, you know, the people who I knew in middle school and elementary school. So the school that I went to went from kindergarten to 8th grade. So I didn't go to the school until I think 3rd or 4th grade. I transferred from another elementary school and went there for a better education or whatever. But yeah, so everybody that I knew from there, some of them had been there from kindergarten all the way to 8th grade. And then now you're going from 8th grade all the way to 12th grade together. So they got to experience that time and be there for each other in a time where, you know, it was hitting those crucial teenage years, and you're going through puberty, you're going through all different kind of stuff. They were there, so their relationships and bonds became closer. So to one another, based on that, they were probably there for one another, giving each other like encouraging words or whatever. But for me, I was away and I was making connections with a whole new genre of people. So it's like I can count probably on one hand and a half how many black people were at that school. So maybe like this per grade, like probably 7 in freshman year, probably 7 in the sophomore class, probably 7 in the junior class, and probably 7 in the senior class. But like when I came, my second oldest brother, he also went to boarding school, and we're 3 years apart. So I was a freshman when he was a senior, so I did get to experience that with him. And then he graduated and moved on and did what he did, came back to Texas and went to Texas Southern University. But yeah, so I was off building my own relationships with those people. But even then, it just felt not so much of like a culture shock, just because of how like the minimum number of like black people that were there. That didn't really bother me, because like I said, the school that I went to from K to 8, that went from K to 8, it was a mixture of white, black, and Spanish. Predominantly black and Spanish, so that's what I was more so used to. But no culture, I've never felt inferior of any culture, of any race. So it wasn't just that. So I don't want to necessarily say that it was a culture shock, really, because it wasn't that. It was just like I can't be myself because I don't know these people. But you know, eventually, like I said, I got to warm up to people and they got to know me. But even them, it was still like I had a wall up, and not because I was afraid of being judged. I really don't care about that. Like, if y'all know, if you ever had the chance or opportunity to get to know me, like, I don't care about being judged. But it was just, I didn't feel and maybe it was that, maybe I just didn't feel safe with allowing those people, even then at that time, to know the full me. And when I say know the full me, because people like to misinterpret things and put bits and pieces of what they assume into play, to try to come to this conclusion of what that means specifically. And I'm just saying, when it says like know me, they don't know like like I said, well, I said it before, previously, leading up into this. So just like my goals, my aspirations, and then it's not even good to share all of your goals and aspirations with people, because you have the naysayers, you have people who are going to try to make you self-doubt yourself, you have to not self-doubt, but like doubt yourself and have self-doubt. You have people who are going to be like, oh girl, well, you sure you want to go through that? It's going to be real hard. You're going to be up against a lot of people. These people have been in the game for these many years, this many years. Do you think you can really be like go up against them? And do you think you can live up to the talent that they've already shown that they have above? So it's not even good to show, like, to tell your dreams and the desires and aspirations to every person that comes in your space. But with my best friend, with Hope, I felt that it was okay to do that. So I didn't really have anybody in those years, like in high school and even in college, you know. People felt the way that they felt about me because of my prestigious background coming from a boarding school or whatever. And I would actually like kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Bear with me, y'all. I was kind of like, downplaying. That's what I'm trying to think of. I was downplaying what my true experience in high school and stuff like that, because I wanted to make everybody else around me feel comfortable. I didn't want anybody to think that I was arrogant and stuff like that. So I would never share my experience, or if I would tell where I went to high school, I would brush it off as if like, oh well, it wasn't nothing. Like, I wish I would have went to a public school, but it was, boarding school was really nothing. But in reality, it was. And like I said, I just never felt that level of comfort to share everything with everybody, because I didn't care about judgment, but I wanted to make everyone around me feel comfortable in their own skin and not view me as this person of privilege just because I went to this school, because you don't even know what it took for me to go to that school. You don't know how much money my parents invested. You don't know what my daddy went through to get me to go finish through that school. Like I said, it's just like college. So people complain about college tuition. Imagine paying high school tuition. You know, like I said, I had to end up getting on scholarship, and luckily I was able to run. God gave me the gift of running. So I ran track, and it kind of knocked down my my tuition my sophomore, junior, and my sophomore, junior, and senior year, because I don't think, did I run track my freshman year? I think I ran track my freshman year, but I wasn't really running for the sake of getting the scholarship. But I was breaking records, so I just ended up, by the grace of God, getting scholarships for the rest of those 3 years. So it kind of helped my dad out a little bit more financially. So yeah, I mean, it's like people don't even know, you know, every little thing that goes into something. They just see, oh, the outcome is that she graduated from here, and the outcome is that we didn't get to experience it. The outcome is that she have 2 parents that she live in the house with. But people don't even know what be going on. Now, I'm gonna say this all the time on my videos, because the plain thing is people don't even be knowing. Plain and simple as that. And they just talk and assume, and based on the things that they've gathered from you collectively, they piece together and make their own conclusions and assumptions about who you are, not even knowing the facts, not even taking the time out to really get to know you. Right? So going back to say all this about trauma and grief and mourning and losing someone who like, especially unexpectedly in general, but especially unexpectedly, that has been there. You know, people will be saying, oh, well, this my friend because I've known her for such and such years. But meanwhile, you have this person who has just come into your life, what, 3 years ago or whatever, and they've made more of an impact, a positive impact in your life, and have been more encouraging to you than any stage of your life, of people that you've met in, you know, socialized with, a party with, or whatever the case may be. You've known them for over 10 years. But this person that comes in for 4 years has done 5 times as much as they could have ever imagined doing for you, because of jealousy or whatever that may have held them back from doing stuff for you that they would typically do for anybody else. So this girl When I said that was my dog, that was my dog, my 8-spoon coon. We were always in these Texas streets. And when I say Texas streets, it's not like even just partying and clubbing all the time. Like, yes, of course, we enjoyed life, but we went to day parties and we did go to clubs and we did go here. But over time, we started going to like just little hangout spots, like more of events, like social gatherings, at some of the parks and stuff down here in Texas, where they always had like events for Memorial Day, or even the Kappas, you know, they would have like little events for like 4th of July and stuff like that, and we'll go to their events and just hang out, mix and mingle with and meet random people, like, hey y'all, yeah, and just chop it up with them for the night, and just have a ball. And we did all that while, you know, she more so uplifted me, because I always used to tease her and be like, girl, well, girl, I want to be like you when I grow up, because I feel like she always had her stuff together. I'm like, oh, this is finally somebody I can relate to. You know, she have a mommy and a daddy, but she had her stepmom because her biological mom had passed when she was young. She had cancer and she ended up passing. So her stepmom, you know, kind of came in. Her stepmom was actually her mom's best friend, but her mom told her that she wanted her to be the one to marry her dad when she passed away, like marry my friend's dad when she passed away. And so she kind of stepped in. And yeah, she was there. Then she had a brother. You know, me, I grew up with 2 older brothers. And so I was like, oh, this is finally somebody that can relate to me. You know, she's not going to be mad or feel a type of way and blah, blah, blah. And it worked out perfectly, because it was finally somebody that was my person. It was finally somebody who I felt like could relate to me and didn't have any malice in their heart. And even though we had a little bump in the road where we stopped talking for a year, but it was that time that we needed, honestly, I feel, just as individuals, to grow, to learn from our mistakes, and truly learn, like, when one person is telling you what not to do to them, you listen to them. So you listen to them, basically, so that you won't do anything to offend or to hurt them or embarrass them any kind of way. So the time that we took apart, that's what we when we came back together. And I guess I took her passing so hard too, because when we came back together, that was the year that she passed. So I was working in Target at the time, at Target, and she came in, and it was like, I want to say like I'm trying to think of the month that she came in, y'all. Like at I want to say maybe like March or April. It was like March or April of 2019. And then her birthday was in August, and that's when we all went to Jamaica together. But yeah, so as soon as I was working and she walked in, I'm like, it's only one person I know that walked like that, because she had this little pep walk, and we used to always tease her at the hotel. You're like, look at her coming down there, strut, like. And so we used to always tease her about that little walk. So when she came in my store, I'm like, I know that walk. And so I screamed her name, and she's like, Jasmine, and we like connected as if we had never stopped talking. And then from there, it was back to us hanging out. It was back to us, you know, up in these streets. It was back to us going out to eat, going to events. I mean, nonstop, all the way up until her birthday in August. Like, that's just how we were together. And so it's like going from all of that, and that being my girl. She used to always send me like encouraging like articles of like, if you really want to accomplish something, you would do it, and this is the guide to doing it. Just be consistent. And she used to tell me, you know, Jazz, write down a 5-year plan. I still have all of her text messages in my phone, because they were just so encouraging and uplifting, which I used to always find myself being in her shoes. I was encouraging everybody else and allowing everybody else to drain my energy, that when it came time for me to have some energy left for myself, to uplift myself, to motivate myself, I was drained. You know, I literally used to have 5-hour conversations with people who would do nothing but talk about the same issues that they've been dealing with 5 years before now, still talking about the same issues that they were talking about 5 years ago, dealing with men who was cheating on them, dealing with all kinds of stuff. But when it came time for me to unleash my problems to someone, nobody was there to be found. And then people would make me feel guilty, like it's my fault that I don't have this friendship, when I knew for a fact, like, don't try to play me like a baser. right? Because that wasn't the case. But like, don't sit up here and make me, you can't make me feel away, because I know how much of my time that I spent out of my day, I'm supposed to be somewhere with my mama, but I'm listening to you on the phone talk about all this kind of stuff and vent to me. And then when I have, Lord forbid, I have one problem out of 365 days and I'm a burden, I feel like you're taking my problems as if it's a burden to you. But you just took 5 hours of my time the day before. But now you can't answer your phone, or you can't respond to a text message or anything like that. But I can listen on the phone for 5 hours to you. Talk about the same thing that you talked about 5 years ago when I was on the phone with you. So, so it's just like, to finally get that from somebody else instead of being on that end, it was just like, dang. So this is what I used to be to people, but it wasn't in a way that I was a burden to her, and I never made her feel like it was a burden, because I don't even like to unleash my problems on people anyway, for that particular reason of just how people have made me feel in the past for doing it once out of, like I said, 365 days in a year. But yeah, so to have her come in and be that pillar, it really took me back. Like Lauren London just said in a recent video that she made, life is going to do what it's going to do. And then not only her, but Tony Gaskins, Tony sent me a check. but not only her, but Tony Gaskins, he was saying, like, when life get a hold of you and tell you to sit down, oh, you're going to sit down. And her passing really set me down. But it's just going back to say, and I say that full story and drawn out story because it's leading up to my main point. And the point is, life will knock you on your ass. I'm going to put it like that. Life will knock you on your ass, and you will have nothing to do but sit back. Just sit back. That's what it is. You're just sitting back. Because it's just like it's just like you holding your breath. And I feel like I've been holding mine since 2019, and don't really want to release, because if I release everything that has transpired and happened since then, it's going to be real. And it still happened to where it was real. It happened to me today, which is why I decided to make it the topic of conversation, because mourning and grief, that ain't nothing to play with. Mourning and grief is a serious thing, and you do inadvertently or unintentionally develop trauma from grief. And like, I remember, because the way that she passed, and I don't want to get too into details, basically it's like someone went to wake her up and she didn't wake up, which ultimately means she passed in her sleep from the medication, whatever they gave her. She, like I said, she had started having complications with her breathing, so they gave her some medication and she just didn't wake up from it. Yeah, so me knowing that she passed in her sleep, I didn't really sleep for months. Like, I was really had, like insomnia, basically, because I wasn't sleeping. I was fearful of going to bed, because I was always nervous that would be my end result, just because someone so close to me passed like that. It just let me know that I'm not exempt from anything. Any one of us could pass exactly like that. And so I wasn't sleeping. I wasn't really eating. I wasn't just, and even now, even in 2022, I am still struggling with her passing. And it wasn't until today that I really, like I said, like holding my breath, and then I kind of was trying to release, and then my emotions release with it. Like, I was at work and I was on the phone talking with a provider or whatever, and we were going over like, because I work for an insurance company, so we were going over like policies and stuff like that, and she was getting some information from me with one of the patients, yada yada yada, and literally I'm sitting there, in my face was just like crying tears, and I had to kind of hurry up and speed up the conversation, because I was like, I need to get out of this building. And so I had to like run to the restroom, and I was in the restroom for like 10 minutes. You know, they have those small stalls and then the real big stall at the end of the restroom. So I went into the big stall and I kept flushing the toilet so no one really hear me cry. But I was just like bawling for 10 minutes. But it was her passing on top of, you know, my cousin who was really close. He was trying to kind of fill that void from me losing her. He was kind of like, because we stayed in the same complex or whatever. So he used to walk across the street because he's in building A, I'm in building B. I'm still in building B. But so he used to just walk across the street like, hey, cuz, I got some drink. Hey, cuz, you want to go out to get something to eat? Blah, blah, because he knew I was just by myself. Like, I would literally do nothing but work and come home, or go see my parents or my niece and nephews and come home. Like, my life after her passing changed so drastically. It went from being this outgoing person to I'm questioning, do I even know who I am anymore? Because I know that I'm not feeling like myself, how I was with her. I haven't been that person for a long time, since 2019 at this point. So he would try to fill that void, and then he just passed. So he passed in October of 2021, just last year, just a few months ago. And so I'm like, I'm back to square one. Like, that's what I'm talking about. Life will knock you on your ass. So it's kind of like trauma. And even with him, you know, he was at work and just collapsed at work, and the doctor said it was natural causes. His heart just went out. But we know the backstory, and it more so related to stress, and stress will do that to you. So I try to control mine a little bit more. That's what it has taught me, to not allow my emotions to take over my physical or my mental. And it's an everyday process. But that's what I have learned from his passing. And so it's just like her passing, and then him now, it really just, I didn't realize it took that much of a toll on me, because I cry and stuff, but when I cry, I just kind of immediately like toughen myself up. And I don't know why I do that. I guess it's to make sure that I can keep going. But you know, if I'm just saying this for the masses, like anybody else who is experiencing this, don't feel weird about it. Don't feel guilty about it. Don't feel like you're not normal for feeling the way that you feel, or no matter how much time has passed, you're still not over that feeling, because it's completely normal. And I don't think we're equipped, or God built us to be over something so quickly like that. But to definitely learn from it and continuously be on this road of recovery and healing from these type of life dealt situations. I think that's ultimately what he wants from us in situations like this. But yeah, it's real, man. It's real. Like, literally every day feels like yesterday. So many people used to say that, like, it just seemed like yesterday. It just seemed like yesterday. We're out here doing this. And then, but in reality, like 10 years has passed. But that's really how I feel now. Like, it feels like just yesterday. But it's literally been since 2019. And so it's just so, and it caught me so off guard today, y'all. It caught me so off guard. Like, I'm like, where is this coming from? And then I was crying, and then I started crying even more, because I'm like, where is this coming from? Like, it's just so, the emotions are so unexpected. And I did not realize I needed to let out like that. And I'm still not finished. Probably when I press stop on this video, I'm probably gonna cry some more, because my emotions are not done yet. And I think it's good that the emotions are coming to me, because like I said, I would short cry, I guess you can say that, because I'd be like, and then I'll be like, girl, what you doing? Stop. You gotta toughen up and keep going. Because life carries on, and that's the unfortunate part about it. It does carry on, but it carries on without these people, like the people that you wish were here the most. So, man, it is so traumatizing. Like I said, I wasn't sleeping when she passed, because I was like, oh, no, I could possibly, not wake up. Or when my cousin passed, same thing. I would be like, when I start feeling like my heart going fast, I would start freaking out even more, which is not good for the body, because it's like you're putting yourself in the same situation that you're trying to avoid putting yourself in, because you're thinking about what happened to him, what could have possibly like taken place, how exactly did it happen, because you just hear his employee, like his coworkers saying, oh well, it happened this way or happened that way or whatever. So you don't really, so you just like, you just kind of feel bad that you wasn't actually there. In a weird way, it's like, dang, what if I was there? What if we could have stopped it, or what if we could have helped it? Or I wonder how he passed out. Like, I wonder, like, who grabbed him, who consoled him, you know, during that moment. But, you know, like I said, life is going to, like Lauren London said, life is going to do what it's going to do, and you will get knocked on your ass. And to mix it in with what Tony Gaskins said, life will sit you on your butt. And when it tells you to sit down, you're going to sit down. And those emotions just came out. So I'm just like, anybody who's been going through that, who feels like nobody feel them, I feel you. I am here with you. I understand now, because that is it is such a tough thing. And then one after the other is like, it is such a tough thing. Like, I'm still in awe. I guess that's my realization, is that I am still in awe. I am still in disbelief. I am still processing that it is real. I'm still not understanding. I mean, I understand, but I understand spiritually, but selfishly, I don't understand. Like, I'm still trying to process that end of it. But yeah, it's wowing. That is for sure. It's just wowing, like, wow. But young Dolph, his wife was like, some days can be good days, even, you know, with him, his, you know, his life being cut short. She came on social media, and she was like, you have your good days, and some days you're up and about and you're motivated and you're ready to go out and tackle the world, but you have that one bad day, and that one bad day can cancel out all of the 50 good days that you had, trying to press forward in this life without those who once were, like here. So, man, and that was my day. I met my day today, because I was like, oh my gosh, and the tears would not stop crying. And then I felt myself doing an ugly cry, but like, but you know, but it was real. Those emotions that in that moment were real and authentic, and I'm still trying to process that, because it's like, how did that even come over me while I'm at work? Like, in the most, what? Like, why y'all get me when I was at work, bruh? But no, but seriously, you know, you gotta find some laughter in there. But yeah, man, it's real trauma, and it'll shake you up, that's for sure. And it's just like, wow, wow, wow. Like, my people are gone, y'all. They gone, but it's okay, y'all. We're gonna be okay. I promise. There's always light at the end of the tunnel. You know, I'm at peace ultimately, because I know she always yearned for her mommy, her biological mom. And so I look at it as, when she went to sleep, that must be, if you're spiritual, then you know what I'm saying. If not, you're probably going to think I'm just weird talking stuff that I don't know what I'm talking about. But seriously, when you're in tune with the spirit of righteousness, then you know. And she was very spiritual too. So I know when she closed her eyes, I feel like her mom was on the other end welcoming her. And then her grandmother had passed not too long before her passing, and that was like her ace boom coon. Like, she used to send us pictures of this woman in her, like, I can't recall how old she was, her grandmother, but she used to be in J's, like Jordans, and her little cane and her little curly gray hair, and I'm like, oh, she's so cute, give me to her. And then, you know, like I said, shortly before her passing, her grandmother passed. So now it's like, you have her mom, and then her mom's mom is now gone, and that's who she was. I feel like that's who she was kind of hanging on to, is because that was who resembled her mom, was her own mother, you know. So but when she passed, yeah, I'm just like, those two are definitely on the other side. Like, come on, baby, just come on with us. You've been doing this for 30 years, yearning for mommy now, so come on over. So that's what kind of brings me some peace, but still have questions. And I talk to God all the time, and I'm like, I know, but I don't understand. I know, but you still need to explain a little bit more. So don't get it twisted now. I still tussle. We tussle all the time. I'm like, I know you're gonna win at the end of the day, but I need my questions answered. So yeah, I need my questions answered, but because I don't know what the other word I just said before that, but yeah, y'all, I just want to come on here and just talk about that, and like I said, to let people know y'all are not alone. We've all been there, if we're not already like still there in this point of our lives, just dealing with grief, dealing with trauma that stems from grief, dealing with like mourning in general. People, anyone who's gone through a divorce, they said that it pretty much feels, I've heard that it pretty much feels like a death. And it's crazy because y'all are both alive and have to still coexist in this world that we live in. So it's twice as hard, you know. So I mean, mourning comes in all shapes and sizes. It doesn't discriminate against anyone. So man, we're gonna get through this together, y'all. It's gonna be some tough days. It's gonna be some easy breezy days. It's gonna be some, oh, today was a fun day, it was a good day, it was a positive day. And there's gonna be some days where we just cry. But it doesn't mean that anything is wrong with you. It just means that you're human. We're going to feel human things and human emotions and go through human problems. That's just the way of life. But yeah, only thing I can say is let's get to living right. Let's stay on the right track. Get our relationships closer to God. And because there's only one place I want to be. And it ain't gonna be here with y'all. I ain't standing for no apocalypse, baby. I'm out this thing. Nah, nah, for real though. But so yeah, I'm just working on that. And each day, now that I went through this emotion, especially, I'm like, open up that Bible. We in Genesis. We going back to the very first book. All right, but that's okay. Come on, guys, stay with me. Cause that's why I'm trying to be. You feel me? But okay, y'all, I done ranted on long enough, and I love y'all much. I'm about to post another video soon here. I don't know what the topic is going to be about yet, but y'all shall see when I figure it out. But okay, y'all, love y'all, like I always say, from the depths of my heart. And per usual, thank y'all so much for tuning in with your girl, because you can be anywhere else in the world, or at least on another YouTube channel, but you here with me. So I appreciate each and every last one of you. Love y'all. Till next time. Bye.